Good afternoon and welcome to Writing Applications and CVs with Pathway CTM and myself, Max. If you're watching this as a recording, welcome. If you're watching this live, welcome as well. Put a hello in the chat box for me. So you know me as Max. I look after events and student success at Pathway CTM. It's my job to make sure that students are fully supported through their pathways, that after they look at events and think, oh, I want to get my application in there, or I need to write a CV, or I need to prepare for an interview. Mine and my team's job is to make sure that you guys are successful. So let's go forward. Today, we're going to be able to engage via the chat box, the Q&A box. You can raise your hand and I can unmute you. If you're watching the recording, come to my Ask Me Anything session on any Wednesday, 4:30 till 5:30 during term time. So let's get going. What are we looking at today? What is a CV and why do I need one? What does and doesn't go on a CV? What's the average time an employer spends looking at a CV? And how to showcase your skills and how to write your little personal statement. Let's get going with the first video. The question is, what is the average time an employer spends looking at a CV?
A CV is a way of applying for a job and showcasing your prior achievements, be that in education, be that in employment, or generically your kind of hobbies and interests as well. Please don't go over 2 pages. I think it's more than enough across 2 pages. And I think what can help keep that to 2 pages is about keeping it relevant. I've probably read hundreds of CVs in previous roles where the company is not the same company that I work for. So people are saying, oh, I really want to work for X organization, which isn't the organization they're actually applying to. And rightly or wrongly, some hiring managers or recruiters will actually discard a CV based upon spelling or grammar. So there's something to be mindful there of check it twice, check it 3 times, just to make sure it's absolutely on point.
What's the average number of seconds or minutes that an employer might look at your CV?
On average, it's about 7 seconds. So first impressions do count for certain when it comes to your CV, and that's why keeping it shorter and really engaging is really, really important. Yeah, I think that personal statement at the top is really, really important, but it's a summary of everything that sits below in the detail around your education, your employment. We're probably all guilty of it. You know, we talk about achievements being part of a sports club, being part of a prefect in school or part of the school council. It's not all about that. Talk about your life experiences, add in there your personal achievements. If that is you once achieved a gold rosette at swimming in your personal time, then pop that down. But if that is also actually you were responsible for organising a street party when the Queen's coronation happened, or whatever that might be, then pop that down as well, because that's an achievement, and that shows what we call transferable skills.
Okay. So you can see there, it says there's 7 seconds that an employer spends looking at a CV. But let's move forward and discuss that a little bit further. What is the point of a CV? Why do we need a CV? I think you can pause and have a chat if you need to. But why do we need a CV? What is it for? So a CV, it's your sales document. It's a sales pitch about you. You're applying to a job. You've seen a job advert and you're like, okay, I like this. I like this degree apprenticeship. I want to get in there. Or even as a graduate later, I've seen a graduate role. I want to get in there. It sounds like a bit of me. How? How does it sound like a bit of you? How are you going to show that employer that you fit what they're looking for? That's where your CV comes in. Your CV is used to show that you are a decent candidate and that you should be interviewed. You should be taken to the next step. So that's why your CV is your sales document. It's about you. Now, I've got that template up there on the screen. We're going to break it down now. How do we make somebody stay on that CV for more than 7 seconds? And I'm going to give you the insight here, because we're going to concentrate on this bit, then the middle bit, and then this bit last. But it's this section that the employers are interested in. This, yes, it's important, but it's this that makes them stay on for more than 7 seconds. Okay, so let's break it down. The first bit, make sure your name's on there. If you've got a name like mine, Massimiliano, and you go by a shortened version, Max, put it in brackets next to Massimiliano, so they know it's easier to call you, to talk to you, to say your name. Make sure you got a mobile number on there and a decent email address. Make it a sensible one. None of this shinyshoes55@gmail.com. Who's shinyshoes55? Use your name and surname, name and initial, surname and initial, a series of numbers. If you use a series of numbers, do not use your year of birth or your month of birth, just random numbers at gmail.com, at Yahoo, at Hotmail, or whatever. So when you think about this, they want to see a clear name, email address, and telephone number. Simple as that. What they also want to see, or what they don't need to see, is your date of birth and your age. They don't need your age. They don't need your date of birth. They don't need any of that. Get it out of there. Forget about it. Okay? Get it out of there and forget about it. Profile we'll talk about in a little bit, and key skills and achievements and interests. You don't need to put your full postal address. You don't need to put your national insurance number. You don't need to put your date of birth. Keep it off. It's too much information you're giving away. Name, shortened version if it's needed. Mobile number, email address that is sensible. They know. Why do you think they need a sensible email address? Because when they email you and say, Dave Smith, we'd love to interview you, liked your CV. These are the slots that I've got available. Tell me which one works for you. And you email back, and the email comes from davesmith7692@gmail.com. They know it's Dave Smith. It comes back from Shiny Shoes 55, and they're like, oh, who's Shiny Shoes 55? Let me go and check the CVs, each one by one, and look at the email address on the CV one by one until I find Shiny Shoes 55. It's Dave Smith. Okay, let me just find Dave Smith. Oh, here it is. Think about what you're doing to the recruiter. Make them want to stay for more than 7 seconds. If you put that barrier up, they're already, oh, this is going to be a while. It's going to be, you're going to make you work for it. Okay, so the next bit, this is the important bit. Now, in that video, we talked about achievements. What have you done? Now, if you are still doing your GCSEs, your A-levels now, I want you to think about, you're probably sitting there going, yeah, but I don't do a lot of things because I have a revision to do. So I don't get to do that extracurricular stuff that I used to do. So at the moment, I don't do anything. Just revision. Don't think about what you do now. Think about what you've done in the past. Maybe 5 to 7 years. What are the activities that you've done that have given you experience, that have given you skills, that have taken you forward, have made you the young adult that you are? What are they? In the video, we use that example of, did you help your community build, set up a fundraiser for the Queen's Jubilee or the Queen's funeral or a street party or whatever? Did you do something like that? Put it in there. Have you been part of a swimming club outside of school and you've won competitions? Are you part of any other sports club where you demonstrate leadership skills and team skills? Do you do Cubs, Brownies, Venture Scouts? Do you do Duke of Edinburgh? What do you do? What are these things that you do that show those other skills? And these are the things that you want to put on there. Do you volunteer? Do you help in your community? Think about these things. Those are the things that an employer wants to see from an early careers person, which is what you are. Early career just means you're at the start of your career. They're not going to ask you for, do you have 2 years experience in a finance department? Have you been working for a year in a, I don't know, in a lawyer's office? No, you're at school. You haven't got experience like that. They know that. So they want to see the different bits that you've done. What have you done in school and outside of school? Oh, yeah. Volunteered on the Science Council at school, helped organise field trips. I got involved in being a prefect. I get involved in parents' evening and organising those, looking after the parents and making sure the event runs well. Outside, I work in my community. I volunteer. I help. I've got a little part-time job in the local cafe. I do sports. I learn a musical instrument, develop myself. I've got a mad passion for IT and computers, and that's what I want to get into. So what I do is I take apart people's computers, fix them for them, and give them back to them. I take apart computers all the time just to make them work again. But, you know, my dad's friends and my mum's friends, they all need help with their laptops and computers and MacBooks, and I help them out. This is what we want to see. These are the things that we want on there, okay? That's why we call it the most important bit. Get it on there. So when that person starts to read that CV and sees the top bit, your name, your email address, and telephone number, and then we'll talk about the profile in a second, and they look at the profile and the key skills, achievements, and interests, and they match, but they see the key skills, achievements, and interests, and there's interesting bits in there. They're like, yeah, I'm liking this person. I'm on this CV for more than 7 seconds already, maybe 30 seconds to a minute. I'm bringing you in for an interview. Okay, so now the middle bit, the bit that I said not as important, but it needs to be there, but not as important. Let's go through a few things. Now, if you're doing your A-levels now, and you've done your GCSEs, you don't need to put the years. At any stage, you don't need to put the years, okay? Because otherwise they can work out your age, right? Get rid of it if you're not comfortable putting it on. If you're doing your A-levels and you haven't got your grades yet, put your predicted grades. Simple as that. If you haven't done your A-levels yet, put your predicted grades. If you've got your grades already, put them on. GCSEs, if you've got a lot of them, don't put everything down. Just put a summary. I did 10 GCSEs, 9 of which I got grade 7 to 9, 1 I got grade 6. Done. Okay. This is not as important for employers as the other bit that we just spoke about. Then your work experience, if you have any, done a bit of volunteering, put it down. Had a job in a coffee shop, put it down. Part-time at Sainsbury's, Waitrose, put it down. Is it a summer job? Put it down. It's shaped you. Doesn't have to be that you don't have to currently be doing it. You could have done it and finished it. References. Tricky one, huh? References. Have a think about references. Who would you put down as a reference? What's a reference for? What is a reference? Basically, a reference is company is going to say, let us know some people who can be a reference for you. They're then going to phone that person up and say, can you tell me that Jimmy John is reliable, hardworking, is he worth employing? So therefore, if we're going to put those names down for references and they're going to get called, and effectively they've also got to sell you to the company, have a think about who you're going to put down. Are you going to put down that teacher who's always got that little problem with you that just thinks that you're always up to no good and doesn't quite rate you? You're going to put them down? Or are you going to put down that teacher that thinks you're God's gift? Best thing since sliced bread. You can do no wrong. You can walk on water. There's always a teacher that's got you down as a favorite. Use them. Put them down. Oh, they're going to give you the glowing reference, the most glowing reference. That employer's going to go, blown away. We need this person. Think about that. So think about this. Ask them beforehand. Sir, miss, can you be my reference? Oh, of course I can. I think you're amazing anyway. Of course I'll be your reference. You can also use family members. Similarly, if you've had a bit of volunteering experience or a part-time job, and that person also thinks that you're God's gift, use that person as well. Put them down. Ask them and put them down. If they don't think you're such God's gift, don't put them down. Simple as that. Just don't put it down. Okay? So it's good to think about these things. Now, if we move forward a little bit, we're going to go on to the personal statement. I said this isn't the most important part. It needs to be there, but it's not the most important part. Now, if we go back and we talked about key skills, achievements, and interest section, where you're going to get somebody to stay on your CV for more than 7 seconds is through that personal profile and that key skills, achievements, and interest section. It's as simple as that. So what is your personal statement? It's sometimes called your personal profile. It's that little paragraph at the top, details what you can bring to a job or a company. And it's opportunity to really sell yourself to the employer. Gives you the chance to show off your strengths and your career goals. So let's look at one. I am a motivated, conscientious, trustworthy, and focused student with a happy attitude who is interested in an apprenticeship in digital marketing. Okay, great opening. You said a lot about you. You got me intrigued. Let me find out about this person. But you also said, we're imagining that you're applying to an opportunity in digital marketing. So now you've put it out there. This is what I'm applying for. I'm interested in that apprenticeship in digital marketing. They know what you're interested in. So when they read that CV, okay, it's for that job. Think about it. What company are you applying to? What job are you applying to? Detailing. Because recruiters don't just sit there and recruit for one job. They might be, I used to recruit for 15 to 30 different jobs at a time. So I get a CV. Which job is this person applying for? I don't know. It doesn't say it here. So I don't know which job I'm comparing them to. Jobs can be different from left to right. Okay. So make sure you detail it so they know what they're looking at. It's like, oh, it's great CV, but I don't know what job they've applied for. Or, oh, great CV, apprenticeship in digital marketing. Let me get that job spec up. Let me look at the strengths of that. So you're already making their job easier for them. So then through my various hobbies and interests, I have learned the importance of being a team player and also how to lead at times too. Through my hobbies and interests. So through my various hobbies and interests, simple as, that person is now going to look at your hobbies and interests section and go, ooh, I like what I see here. Oh, there's quite a few things here. They're already close to 7 seconds. And they're just getting a lovely little taste about you. I'm able to communicate effectively with different audiences and I consider other people's point of view. That might also be backed up in your key skills, achievements and interests. Oh yeah, this person works in the community with different people, maybe works in an old people's home or works with customers, whatever it could be. I've built my resilience by recovering from setbacks and learned how to prioritize my time and make sacrifices to benefit my own personal development. Maybe you learn a musical instrument. Maybe you're a team sports player. Maybe you're an individual sports player. Maybe you've had those knockbacks that has had to build your resilience through doing different things personally, at school, in the community. You learn to prioritize your time because maybe through digital marketing, maybe that's your bag and you're really interested in what you do is you spend your time helping others market. So maybe you actually work for a charity or a local shop or somebody and you help them with their marketing for their shop because they have no idea about shop. They're an independent business. They've got no idea about marketing. You're helping them. You've decided to do something to help yourself personally develop yourself at the sacrifice of your own personal time and the ability to go out and have a bit more fun doing something different. So it shows your responsibility. I'm also able to make decisions under pressure. It is another skill that I have developed. By being an active member within my community and within my family, I've learned the importance of giving back and helping others. And they can see that again, making more connections. This has been through the various activities that I absolutely enjoy taking part in outside of school. I've also gained valuable workplace skills and good media and IT skills due to my time volunteering in the marketing department at college. Can you see there that you've put a lot of things together? By putting those things together, that person has spent more than 7 seconds on your CV, has built a really good picture of you, has had a real good think about you, spent more than 7 seconds, probably 30 seconds to a minute. They'll call you for an interview or they'll email you for an interview, for sure. Because you captivated them and engaged them and backed it up with examples, showed them. All of this stuff matches their job description, or the majority of their job description. It's what they want to hear. It's what they want to see. As an early career person, these are the things that we look for. So think about it. Do we have any questions? Remember, if you're watching this as a recording, come to my Ask Me Anything session every Wednesday during term time, 4:30 till 5:30. It's a drop-in session for students to come and ask questions. Stay for 5 minutes, the whole hour, whatever you want. So let's think about it. Okay, what questions have we got? Somebody has asked, how long should your CV be? No more than 2 pages at an early career stage. If it's a page, 3/4 of a page and a quarter, it's fine. 2 pages is a limit, not a target. Think about this as well. Make the information relevant. If it's not relevant and doesn't need to be there, don't put it there. If you think it's relevant, put it there. But also think everything you put on your CV, make sure you can back it up, because that's what they're going to ask you about in your interview. Back it up, don't lie. Don't over exaggerate. Don't try and meet every single criteria on that job description, because you won't. But let's talk about those things that have made you you, that you've done over the last years, that have shaped you as an individual and as a human being and as an adult. That's what we want to see. That's what's really important, okay? So like somebody says here, a really good question, actually. Somebody has asked, you can't see this if you're on the recording, so I will read it out. So I don't have time. I don't do extracurricular activities because I have to look after somebody in my family. This is a really good point. And I mention it on every session I do, and I'm surprised I haven't mentioned it already. If you're looking at it and going, yeah, great, I love these extracurricular activities, Max, but I don't have time for that because I have to care for a family member, whether it be a parent, brother or sister, or multiple brothers and sisters. You know, I have to take them to school, I have to pick them up from school, I have to cook them dinner, I have to look after them. Put it on your CV. Talk about that. Sacrifice, that's personal development, that's working under pressure, that's maturity, responsibility, reliability. That's so many things, so many good things because you've sacrificed things for the better nature and the good of your family and other people. You've put them first. And that's a really important thing. But those things that you do build you as an adult, build your responsibility, your ability to make decisions under pressure and not under pressure, your understanding, your sacrifice, so many great skills that employers will love. And your understanding of the world will be slightly different. So put it on. Don't think it's a disadvantage. It is not. It is absolutely not. In fact, it might even be an advantage. Put it on that CV. Employers will want to know about that, and they will ask you questions about it if you're comfortable with it. Fantastic. Thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much for coming to today's session, for taking part. Remember, if you can scan that QR code, you can come to our other, well, you can come to our other events anyway, but you scan that QR code and it shows you what other events we've got going on. Get signed up to our Instagram as well. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you on the next session.